I've been on a very long quest to optimize how I feel every day and the energy I have for my work. You could say that most of my obsession with health, with nutrition, with diet, with fitness, all of that has been about how do I get as much energy as possible during the day. So I wanted to let you know about 3 different habits and supplements and aspects of my routine that I've implemented recently that have really helped in the energy area of my life and having more energy for the day. Now, there's so many different types of things that you can buy and try out for yourself. And I really encourage you to experiment as much as possible if you're interested in getting more energy for the day with whatever might work for you. However, for me, I also have this graveyard of all these different tips I've tried, all of these different supplements I've bought, all these different fitness things I've tested out. And I really just wanted to distill 3 things that I will use every day, and I do use every day, that has really made a difference for me. Number 1 is getting bright light early in the day and for at least an hour or 2 hours. Now you might say, how is it possible to get bright light for an hour or 2 hours a day? And that's where sun lamps come in. Now I use a light to help light the video that I use when I'm on different calls in my office. And what I've noticed is not only getting bright light in the morning is really impactful for me waking up and just feeling energized, but also getting at least an hour or 2 per day with some type of sun lamp or some type of very bright light. Now, it might be that you have fluorescent lighting in the office that you work in, but that doesn't really seem to have the same effect to me. And I also noticed that when I was staying in my room with dim lighting, kind of like the lights you see back here, I sort of had a sleepy attitude. And so what I do every day is I take a walk in the morning first thing, after I've done some meditation, after I've showered. So maybe within the first hour of waking up, I go for a walk and I actually go get my morning matcha. And when I get back, I keep on a sun lamp or some type of bright lighting for a video for at least 2 hours. And it's crazy how different I feel when I've done that. Number 2 was something I just mentioned, is I have cut off myself having too much caffeine during the day and becoming too dependent on caffeine. And so I've switched from coffee to matcha. Now, every once in a while, maybe once a week, I'll let myself have an espresso, have a coffee, but this routine of consistently having matcha every day has led me to still get the kick and the experience and the habit of having something warm to drink in the morning, which I love so much, but it hasn't put so much caffeine in my system that I'm sort of constantly feeling like I need more. It gives me a bit more of a natural type of high, and there's a lot of benefits that come with drinking matcha beyond just the caffeine. So the second thing I've implemented is having matcha every day instead of coffee. It sounds strange that that would be something that gives you more energy, but I've found myself having a lot more consistent energy during the day. And then if I really need that boost, I'll add in the espresso, I'll add in the coffee that I love so much, but that I've cut out generally to keep more energy for myself during the day. Now, tip number 3 is greens supplementation. I try to have salad for lunch and I try to have a vegetable for dinner. I fast typically until about 11 every day, but adding greens in throughout the day has been a huge boost for me. So there's 3 times a day where I add in greens, and I really feel like I can tell and feel a large difference every time I continue and be consistent with taking some type of green supplementation. So in the morning, first thing, I add a bit of green powder from Athletic Greens into a cup of water. So I wake up, I do my stretching, I do some meditation, I do, the shower and get ready. And before I go on that walk, I'm actually stirring up just about a cup or 2 of water with a little bit of Athletic Greens in it. I add in some spirulina. I add in sometimes a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of cocoa powder. So I just make a little bit of a cocktail, sometimes with some type of fat with it as well, that includes maybe some MCT oil or maybe some olive oil. But most importantly, that's where I add a little bit of greens into my morning. And that little mixture kind of kicks me off and gives me a little bit of that green supplementation first thing in the day with a little bit of fat. I don't think it breaks my fast because it's minimal enough that it's not many calories, but it just gives me a little bit of greens in the morning. At lunchtime, I make sure to have a salad with, again, a little bit of fat and mostly just greens. So a green salad, maybe with some nuts or seeds on top, maybe with some type of hemp seeds, something like that. But it's greens for lunch. And that really keeps me from having that plateau where you start to feel really lethargic during the day because you've eaten such a big meal. And the third green supplementation I do is, aside from having a vegetable with dinner, I take Brocco Max, which is a supplement that is broccoli sprouts but in supplement form. There's a lot of research about broccoli sprouts being something that's very good for you. It's sort of like a super dose of broccoli and greens, and I take that in supplement form, typically about twice a day. So sometimes right before lunch, sometimes right after, or just here and there throughout the day. So really the third tip is really increasing the amount of greens that I take, mostly through green powders, which has made a huge difference in how I feel. So what I've realized for myself is there are so many different things that I can try to really augment how I feel during the day, but more sunlight in the form of even just a sun lamp or going outside has made a huge difference. Switching to matcha from coffee strangely has helped me actually have more energy, even though that sounds like the opposite, but I think it's just much more consistent. It's much less burning my system out to needing more, and it makes me just have more consistent energy throughout the day. And number three, adding in greens as much as possible. For me, the way that's easiest is just doing it through powder form, but you could do that through salad. You could do that through having more veggies. And hey, maybe you get crazy with it. Maybe you even have a breakfast that's veggies. I know that is crazy here in the United States, but just upping the amount of green food that I'm eating really has made a difference in making me just feel good throughout the day and not having a slump. So I'm curious, what has worked for you? Is there something that really, in adding it to your daily habits, has made a big difference? I'd be curious to hear in the comments, and I'll be back again soon with another video. Thanks.